All right, welcome back. After a brief almost monthly hiatus, we're back on the almost monthly schedule, and we have made it back across the street. Not made it back across the street. We're across the street for the first time in this series, and excited to have our first guest. Let's do this. All right, today from the Human Resources Department, joining us is Hunter Egbert. Did I say that correctly, first of all?
You did.
I did. Okay. Egbert, talk about the origins of that. Where does it go back to?
I actually do know it goes all the way back. There was a King Egbert. It was like
Wow.
ECG. I think in the 1400s in England. So it goes back to that. I heard that story when I was like 8 years old from my grandpa, but who knows how true that is. But that was my understanding.
That's
of
your
it.
story, and you're
Yeah.
sticking to it. All right, sir. You are the Training and Development Administrator in HR. Is that accurate title?
Yes. Yeah.
And if you could describe that in layman's terms, how would you describe your job or your role?
My job at the board is to make sure the people that actually serve the people that serve individuals are able to keep their certification. So making sure that all of the service departments, SSA, CI, children's provider support, are able to maintain their DODD certifications and follow all of the state regulations as far as the training standpoint. That's the bulk of my job. There's a lot of little side gigs in there, but really just making sure that they meet those minimum requirements so that they can keep working with the providers that work with individuals.
Okay. And you also do a lot of emerging leaders under you, right?
Yep. So one of the programs that we have going on is Emerging Leaders. That one just looks to develop from within people within the board that are looking to try and gain some experience. That way they can hopefully move up and get into management or supervisory roles if they don't currently have that experience.
Okay.
That currently is going on. A group of about 12 people from the board are going through that right now. They're going to be set to graduate in November/December.
Nice. Okay.
And at the end of it, they get that year of supervisory experience. That way, if they are eligible, they can now put an application in for those coordinator positions or any of those that kind of fit the role for them.
And then, of course, everybody's favorite, the learning modules that
I'm the one that blows everyone up with all of the learning modules, all of the policies and procedure trainings, the other statewide ones that have to be done. We had to do a fraud reporting. We have to do our breach training, all of that fun stuff that everyone really loves and is always right on top of. No one waits until the last minute to get that done. Even though it doesn't take that long, but I want to say there's about 52 modules. So if you have not started yet, please do. It only takes a little bit of time, but I know everyone loves it.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. And talk about let's go back to before the board. Where were you before you got here?
So I have absolutely zero experience in the DD world prior to this. I came from the retail industry. Directly before that, before the board, I tried my hand at insurance sales, decided that I am not a good salesman. I don't like getting people to change their mind if they say no.
I could not see you in that role at all. So
no, I'm a little bit of a people pleaser, so that doesn't work. Before that, I spent most of my time as a general manager for Aldi. I was there for about 4 years. Was over at the Alexis Road location, but I worked all over Toledo. And then before that, I was with Chipotle for almost 5.5 years.
Wow. Okay.
2.5 years of that time as a general manager over at the airport location. So
let's stick with the Aldi one first. Yeah. How are the Aldi fines if you have like the behind the scenes access? Did you have like first dibs or anything?
So you're not supposed to. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I never set anything aside. Like for me, it was always, and it was never the regular merchandise. It was always like the specialty meats, like around Christmas time, the rack of lamb that go on sale, or the bone-in rib roast. Those were my favorite. I would always set one aside, just Christmas dinner or something.
Sure.
But it's one of those things when you're always putting out new stuff every week. I mean, you kind of get a little bit numb to the idea of buying more new stuff. And I'm already a hoarder at home. I keep everything. I'm that stereotypical. I've got 4 or 5 different junk drawers just accumulating things.
Okay.
So I had to really put in some restraint there. I cannot buy more Aldi finds. If I came home with more stuff, it was always a problem with the wife. She just kind of look at me and say, "Do we really need this?" I mean, I thought it was a cool little gadget. I mean, squatty potty, where else are you going to find that?
What is a squatty potty?
It's like a little stool it's like a little stool that goes in front of your toilet for when you need a little assistance, I guess.
And who wouldn't like
it? It just makes it a little bit more comfortable for you.
Love it. Okay. And Chipotle, any secret menu things or any insights you can give us?
At this point, there's no true secret menu things. They've come out. Everything that used to be a secret, like the quesadilla, there used to be a secret queso. All of that stuff has become a normal menu item at this point.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that Chipotle from the time I was there to now is almost a completely different company. They've gone through a couple of CEOs and especially within the Toledo market. I kept in touch with a lot of those managers, but I think there's only 1 or 2 left from the time I was there.
Wow.
But nothing crazy or secret. I mean, I do give them props. Absolutely do have some of the freshest ingredients. I mean, the prep work that they do every day, it is not a fast food, in my opinion. I don't feel bad when I buy it. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, definitely a big fan of Chipotle. So I ate that every day for 5+ years, and I still eat it.
Well, that's good to know, because a lot of restaurants, if you only knew what the kitchen was like, or if you could only see. So that's good.
Yeah.
What caught your interest about this position at the board that made you want to apply?
The biggest thing that caught my eye was, I'm not gonna lie, the title, training and development. So at all of my retail positions, the training side was everything that I truly enjoyed. I loved hiring. I loved bringing new hires on and getting them trained up to speed and seeing that development and watching them go from someone who really had no idea what they're doing all the way up to someone who can really be counted on and you can rely on them. That was a really big part for me, and I took a lot of pride in that. So that caught my eye. I want to try and find something that I can do that, but gets out of the retail world. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows how crazy the hours are in retail. Don't love working every single weekend. Don't love being on call, because if someone calls off, it's your job to go in and do all that kind of thing. So seeing that it was a Monday through Friday, every single holiday you can think of, I mean, those are all massive benefits that I really loved the idea of. And it was a change of pace. I definitely was ready to go from those high stress positions where you're working a crazy amount of hours and you're not really home as much, to something where it's a lot more stable and can really benefit the home life and all of that. So
absolutely.
My wife definitely was a big supporter in that.
Awesome. And I think it's worked out, certainly for the board, hopefully for you as well. Speaking of, I think you have a child coming up on a year, right?
Yeah, she is almost 9 months now, which is crazy. Time is flying with that. I will tell this to every single new parent or person that is willing to listen, I guess. That trope of like blink and you'll miss it and it goes by so fast is absolutely so true. I always thought that was an exaggeration, and here we are 9 months later, and the baby is now almost walking and crawling around everywhere and is about to say her first words.
That's awesome.
It's just crazy how fast it goes, and I just love seeing the development of it, because learning all her new skills, even though there's the crazy nights where, like last night, she was up until 2:30, 3 o'clock just because she figured out that she knew how to like make a new noise and just did not want to go to bed. But it's still a lot of fun.
Yes, the don't blink part. But as you're saying, there are some days and nights that it's like, okay, it can go a little faster.
Right.
I know time's going fast, but it can go a little faster.
Those nights, I mean, I don't necessarily think I'll miss those as much.
Right.
But it's all a part of the experience. I mean, I was talking with my wife the other night about how we really loved, like when I was on, I mean, everyone loves being on paternity or maternity leave. I mean, being at home with your kids and with your significant other is amazing, but those crazy nights when we were both up at 2 or 3 in the morning and like the whole world is asleep, but we're sitting here with this new baby and just kind of watching and appreciating it, that was something that I definitely will miss.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. Let's see here. What else do we want to know about? You're wearing your Maize and Blue on brand because I don't ever, I think, see you not in Maize and Blue. So tell us about the connection to Michigan.
Really just kind of, my family, not big sports fans for the most part. Okay. My uncle is a massive Michigan fan, which I couldn't tell you why he is because he grew up in Columbus.
Wow.
Right. No idea how that worked out. But he got a hold of me when I was 2-3 years old and just kind of put that idea in there. And since he was the only one talking about it, I think that's just the only reason it took.
By default.
Right. By default, it's just how it worked out. But yeah, you're right. I'd say 4 out of 5 days a week, I'll probably wear something with a Michigan logo on it. I've got a lot of their stuff.
And they're good colors too. I mean, it's not
right.
Like,
it's neutral. It looks professional, especially I like to ride that more casual side of business casual. So a golf polo is perfect.
No offense to like brown and orange, but blue and gold looks a little
classier.
Maize and Blue, excuse me. Yeah. Right. Let's see. There was something else I was going to talk about. I understand that you grow your hair out, which now having, did my research, explains your varying hair lengths throughout the year. But I understand you grow it out to for bigger purposes.
Yeah, I've now. This is my.
This obviously for the first time the Almost Monthly podcast, the hair segment, and of all people to be discussing this. But I'm glad we have a fine mane like Hunter here.
I'm gonna do my best to just convince you to grow your hair out too. I'm sure it's gonna go great. This is the 4th time that I've grown it out. The first time was out of pure laziness. Just decided I didn't want to go get my hair cut. This is how my
beard started, actually. Right. Pure laziness, yeah.
And it works out sometimes.
Right.
After it grew out a little bit, first time I was ready to cut it, someone talked to me about the idea of donating it. And then kind of went into the ins and outs of everything as far as what is the right program to donate it to and what's the most beneficial. So every time I've grown it out and donated it, I've given it to Wigs for Kids, which is a 100% nonprofit. And they partner, and they're
actually local here. Or?
I think they're out of Detroit.
Okay.
They partner with children with hair loss and get them set up with wigs and all of that kind of thing. After the second time I donated, I was in Dallas, just visiting with a friend, and I was at a place where I ran into some guys that were pretty goofy. They work for a company called The Long Hairs. It's hair ties for guys and men's hair products. Yeah. So they were talking to me about everything, and they donate a portion of their proceeds to children with hair loss. And they also are partnered with Wigs for Kids, which is really cool. So after I talked to them, they told me about this big event that they do every 4 years or so called The Great Cut. And I got to participate in that last year. So I flew out to San Diego and did there was a big party and a big donation event that was going on. They had a few thousand people that came out to donate their hair and try and
envisioning like barber's chairs all in a row.
It's crazy amount of tables and chairs set up, and it's a little nuts, and the lines were crazy long. I think I was in line for like 4 or 5 hours
Oh
just
my
to get my hair cut. And again, paying to be there to do it. But it was going for a great cause. They were trying to break the world record for hair donation at one time, which that time they did not break it, but they do own the world record already. So they're trying to break their own record. So that was the whole idea, trying to make sure it goes to a good cause. And I like growing it out for that reason. It's really cool to kind of see the different stages it goes into. And then in all reality, long hair is easier to deal with. I just put it up. I put it up and don't have to deal with styling it. I don't really mess around with it. It's up and it's done. I don't have to do hair gel, any of that kind of stuff. Everyone thinks it's the opposite, but I might be the minority there. Yeah, so I'm currently growing it out again. I'm at about a year and 4 or 5 months of hair growth right now. I'm going to be growing it out this time until 2030.
What?
Yeah, that's their next haircut event to donate.
Wow.
So that's going to be a really long one. That's going to be 6 and some change years of hair growth. So I fully expect it to be like down to my hips, maybe even longer at that point, because that's a very long time. I think the longest I've grown it out was 3.5 years. So we're going to almost double that.
So we're going from 2025 to 2030.
Yeah. So it was last year, 2024.
24.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Look forward, you'll need to update the ID badge.
I absolutely will.
For sure. So outside of work, you said you coach at Northview High School.
Mm-hmm. I've been coaching there now for 9 years. I coach track and field, specifically pole vault. It's a sport that I did all throughout high school and just really fell in love with. That was my favorite memories of high school. It was in track.
And high school, remind me again?
I went to Northview.
Oh, Northview. Okay.
Yeah. So I had always stayed in touch. After I graduated, I would go out there and help them practice a little bit. I was really close with the coach at the time. And in 2016, 17, he reached out and said that he wasn't going to be able to do it anymore and wanted to know if I would be interested. And at that point, I had no idea about coaching. I had never thought about it, but I said, why not? And been sticking around for every year since then. It's something that, again, getting back to that like development piece, I love watching people grow and seeing the kids progress and go from this super awkward like 13, 14-year-old that can barely walk in a straight line to seeing someone as a senior who has developed into this like really good athlete, or really, not everyone turns into a great athlete, but they all turn into great kids. And seeing that development is a really big piece.
Challenges and easier things to deal with talking to 13 to 18-year-olds.
Yeah. They are in one ear, out the other, almost constantly. I repeat the same message a lot of times. But eventually you start to kind of see that growth. And the big thing that I look for when I start to see it click is when someone who's newer starts asking a question, and you see an older kid that steps in and they answer it before I do. Nice. And that's that like crazy moment that you just look forward to and you love to see, because you finally realize that you're doing something right, and they're picking it up and they're passing it along. So that's always the big aha moment that you look for.
Awesome. Any scholarship athletes that you've produced? Or that have gone on in some capacity?
I only have one. He was in my first or second year. He went on to vault in college. There's another. You
coach boys and girls, I assume.
Yes, I coach both boys and girls. Unfortunately, track, there's not a lot of coaching stipends available, so we have to double up a lot of times. Right. I've got one other athlete that I didn't coach in high school, but I started working with him post-high school, and he's currently vaulting in college. He went to Mount Union, actually won their league this past year, and he's currently in the transfer portal trying to move on to some better opportunities. So he's looking at some D1 schools that are very interested. Hopefully know here shortly on where he's going to end up.
Excellent. Did you play anything else in high school?
I played football for 3 years. I also was in marching band all 4 years, so got to do the double venture there. You would always see me out there at halftime in the football uniform, carrying my saxophone and marching along with everything.
Nice.
Funny enough, that's where I met my wife, Megan. Was in band camp. She was my squad leader freshman year. Ended up kind of puppy dogging around her for a while because, that young, you have no idea.
So you're a freshman, a squad leader would be what?
She was a sophomore. She was a year ahead of me. She was a sophomore. She was just really good. So they kind of promoted her real quick. But yeah, the band camp freshman year was when I really got to know her, and we stayed really close for, the whole high school career. We ended up getting together my junior year, her senior year, and then we've been together ever since. This
story is going to really embarrass your daughter someday.
I doubt it. I'm proud of that. I think it's so cool.
That is very cool. But you still compete in pole vault, right?
I do. I jump in a couple of meets every summer. I usually wait until about the end of the regular track season before I start kind of training for it myself. I'll keep working with the kids and doing all of that, but the practice sessions change a little bit because now I'm jumping with them. This year I jumped in the Grand Haven Beach Vault up in Grand Haven, Michigan, which I've done that now the last 5 years or so.
Okay.
It's a great time. It's one of the only meets that you'll go to where it's just pole vault. There are no other track events. So they've got 3 pits set up on the beach itself, 100 yards away from the water, and it's a really cool setup. It's a great vibe. Pole vault itself is a community within track itself, and everyone is so tight-knit because especially at that level, you get up higher levels, it's a little different, but at that level, everyone is really just competing against themselves. They're not competing against each other. So they will cheer you on. They will help you out. They'll look at and see, hey, this is what you're doing. This is what you can improve on. This is how to get over that next bar, which is just amazing to see because everyone is so willing to come together.
So Grand Haven is not too far. Are there any of your teammates or competitors from high school that you still see?
There's a few people that I saw. One guy from the Whitmer coaching staff, which he graduated the same year as I did. He competed this year. There's not too many others. I did do an alumni meet a few years ago that I put on, try and get some people out, but it's been hard trying to get in. It's one of those sports where if you don't stay in it, it's hard to get back
Especially
into
something
it.
Like pole vault.
It's physically challenging, and it's one of those sports that if you're not fully invested into it, you can't really be part way because that's how you'll just end up getting hurt that way.
Off the track, I understand you have a bit of a sweet tooth. So let's dive into that because as a fellow sweet tooth person myself, give me some Pavlovian conditioning you have toward certain dishes.
If I'm out and they have the number one question that it doesn't matter how much food I've had to eat, I can be stuffed to the brim. Before they bring the check over, I ask, do you have any warm desserts? And it's got to be a warm dessert because that's
dessert.
A warm chocolate chip cookie, brownie, cake, pie. If it's warm, I absolutely will say yes every single time. I don't know just a sucker for it. Growing up, it was always like the chocolate lava cakes. My mom's favorite story to tell is we would always go over to what was Don Pablo's over here, the old Mexican joint.
Yep.
They used to have a chocolate volcano, so it's just a chocolate lava cake with a scoop of ice cream at the top. And me and I, at the time, 2 siblings and then 2 step siblings, just who can grab a spoon the fastest, and it just turns into a fight for as many bites as you can get. I think it definitely all comes from that, but love warm desserts. Also, Matt, I'm a big fan of like a tiramisu, because anything coffee flavored.
Overrated, but go on.
That's where you're absolutely wrong. I've never seen someone so wrong, actually. A tiramisu with like an espresso or a latte or something at the end of dinner. Oh my goodness.
I'll take the espresso and latte, but
yeah.
Nonetheless. So this will be seen on YouTube, of course, and I think YouTube is something you are familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about Running Rust.
So Running Rust is a YouTube channel that myself and a friend of mine started up about 3 years ago. We got together with the idea of trying to take a broken down classic car. It was a 1962 Ford Falcon, and documenting our progress of getting the car put back together and back on the road.
Did you own this, or you had wanted to get it? Where was the vehicle itself?
A friend of mine bought it from a junkyard for $200. It had no engine. It had no floor.
Wow.
It barely rolled, and he bought it on a whim and sat on it for about 4 years, and then eventually decided he was tired of sitting on it and wanted to do something with it. So we decided we're going to try and get this thing on the road. And as the idea kept forming, we decided we wanted to turn this into a gasser, and not just a gasser. We want to turn it into a drag car. So,
okay, back up for, I hope I'm not the only ignorant one here, but what is a gasser?
A gasser is a specific type of modified car.
Okay.
So I think technically it's anything pre-1970, and it has to have a straight axle front end, and then it also has to be raised up. So the front end has to be higher than the rear end. So it's got that like stance like this. Not aerodynamic at all. It catches a lot of wind. It is generally, in our case, it's not a pretty car, but it was just an era of classic cars that people were building in the 70s and 80s, where they would take those cars from the 60s and kind of adjust the wheelbase and get them set up for dirt track racing. So that's what a gasser is. I don't really know why we ended up going towards that idea. There was a million different easier routes, because gassers are traditionally not super fast, and they are not easy. They don't have good handling. They don't necessarily look super appealing, but that was the route that we decided to go.
More costly to maintain.
Cars, there's no such thing as a cheap car, unfortunately. That this whole project has definitely taken a big bite out of the wallet for the last few years. But in the end, the goal is to try and document everything and look at the process of going from nothing all the way to being able to race this car, and then put it on YouTube, and hopefully we can get to the point where it'll monetize and the channel and all of that can start paying for the car itself. That way I don't have to pay for it anymore, because that would be great for me, and it would make the wife very happy. Just life would be really good.
Happy wife, happy life. That's
exactly.
Right. Now, you're not Mr. Beast, certainly, but you do have quite a following from what I have saw, and we'll link to it just so you can help Hunter and see a very cool car. But you do have quite a following. Do you engage with folks to follow you? Do you see them out at the races you go to?
As crazy as it is, we do have some fans that we've seen at the different events we go to. So we'll go to different drag and drive events. We'll go to different car shows and all of that kind of stuff. And we've seen people from California that were at the show that recognized the car and got a picture with us, which was super cool, because I would never guess in a million years that anyone outside of Toledo would ever see anything that we make. So we've definitely had a little bit of exposure that way. We are definitely bigger on Instagram than we are on YouTube, but YouTube is where you make money. So the goal is to try and monetize there. So we've reached certain levels of it. You have to go from 1,000 followers and I think it's 3,000 watch hours before you actually can make money on YouTube. And that's the hard part. We've got the followers right now. We're just trying to get enough watch hours in a calendar year for YouTube to like green light us and say, yes, they can make money. And then once you reach that level, YouTube will then actually start advertising your content instead of just kind of having to push it out on your own.
What's been non-growing the channel? What has been the rewarding part of this this venture?
Biggest thing is for me, I had no idea how to do anything with cars at all. Like I could barely, like my experience with cars before this, I tried to take my wheels off of my car a few years ago and paint the calipers so that they would look cool and then put the wheel back on. And then I went down the highway and my wheel fell off because I did not tighten the lug nuts enough. So if that doesn't tell you what my exposure level to working on cars is, I was very new to it. And now I'm pretty confident working on at least older cars. Yeah. Older cars are a lot easier, a lot less technology, a lot less electronics. But I'm that learning process has been very cool. And I mean, the car community itself is also a really welcoming one. You can have a car that really just does not look great and show up and people like it just because it looks different, or they can see the work that you've put into it. And that's something that is really appreciated because it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of frustration, especially for us when we have limited resources and limited knowledge. I mean, we do reference YouTube for a lot of other stuff on how to do different things. And that's the nice part for us though, is that's where we get some content ideas, is because we're looking for a reference on how to do something and that it's not available. So, all right, well, we'll do it and videotape it and put it out there. That way someone else in a few years or at some point is going to see that and they'll have that reference.
Where are some of the travels you've done for the drag races?
Coolest one was we went down to North Carolina. We got to go there for Drag Week in 2023. We hit Raleigh, we hit Bristol. There was a few other smaller drag racing venues that we hit. Those were all really cool. We've been up to Milan, Michigan, which that's probably the closest one to our area. Got to go out to Indianapolis. That one was a really cool one. There's been quite a few. There's a ton that we still want to venture out to. Especially there's a lot of really cool ones up in the Northeast, like Maine and Massachusetts and all that, which you would never guess would be a drag racing area, but there's a lot of really cool historic ones up there.
Hunter, what is an app that you could not live without on your phone?
I hate to say it, but Instagram. I don't know about you. I am someone who will get caught up in the doom scrolling. I will just go on, and I'm not even looking at my phone, but I have to be doing the movement. Most of that comes from trying to grow the Running Rust stuff, but it's definitely one that I spend a lot of time on, unfortunately. As far as productivity and all of that kind of stuff, I do love, it's called Golf Shot. I love that app a lot. Play a lot of golf, so that one works really well for like GPS and tracking scores, and it gives you like advice on how to improve your game and all that kind of thing. So I mess around with that quite a bit too.
You use that while playing, or this is like separate?
Both. So you use it while you're playing, and then you can use it when you're like practicing, or just like they do videos. And
give me an
like
example
that.
of a use for it while you're playing.
Number one use is going to be it has this feature called Auto Caddy. So you can put in what all of your clubs are and what your average distances are, and it'll tell you what the recommendation for each shot is based on where you're at, what your lie is, all of that kind of stuff. So that's a really cool
feature. You shoot it with
feature.
your camera. I mean, you shoot the ball, or what do you?
No, it just uses GPS on your phone, and then if you need to change, like if it isn't super specific, which for the most part it's pretty dead on, you can manually change where you're at on the course. But no, it works automatically. Nice part about having an Apple Watch is it works on that too. So
Nice.
yeah, the GPS function on it is really nice.
I watched Happy Gilmore too this weekend. That's about the extent of my exposure to the great game of golf.
Fair.
Which was excellent if you have not seen it.
I have not. I watched the first one this weekend though.
I did not. I have not seen the first one, and the second one I feel like I'm caught up.
Straight to the second one.
To the second.
Interesting.
How about a time management or productivity hack that you can share with us? I assume a leadership developer like yourself, management experience, any good ones that your colleagues or anyone listening, watching can
I don't know about
utilize?
A hack.
Okay.
For me,
something that works for you. How about that?
I have to have my calendar
Okay.
updated, and that's both. I'll have it Outlook updated, but I'll also add everything to my phone. So I guess that's another app I probably should have mentioned. My calendar app is filled out so specifically because if I don't see it, I will not remember it.
Yeah.
So that is my if someone wants to meet with me, say, hey, can I drop by? I will add it, even if it's a 5-minute conversation. I need to see that visual to know, hey, that's where they're going to be and that's what's going on. This is what I need to do, due dates, all of that kind of stuff. So very big on keeping your calendar up to date.
And solid logical advice that anyone could use because we all have a calendar somewhere.
And the board is also very avid about keeping your calendar up to date.
Yes, we are. How about a common myth about your job or your department?
Common myth that HR only is out to punish people. Everyone always assumes that HR coming around means that something bad is happening. Right. I would say, especially under the current regime, that is the farthest thing from the truth. Right now, the biggest thing that our current director is trying to push towards is employee engagement and finding ways to support employees and make sure that they get every resource possible. So making sure that they know that they can come to us if they have questions or if they need something, even if it's as minute as asking about updating the vending and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, Shelley is very on top of supporting the employees and making sure people get positive outcomes from the interactions.
Can confirm. Good stuff. That's about all the questions I got. Any questions or anything else you'd like to add here?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on another episode of the Almost Monthly Podcast.
Thank you.
Day.